science offers power. And power terrifies them.
What kind of power?
Power over death. Hold him tight. Go, touch it. It knows you. Get it off!
There we go. I'm muted because I'm an idiot. And I've got to get my microphone down. Hey up, it's Steve from Old Yorkshire Geek. Welcome to my Friday night appointment with Fear. This week, we're doing, as you saw from the trailer, we're doing Frankenstein, the true story. Even though it's not a true story. I don't even know why they've called it that. Apparently, it's not even, not even true to the original novel, which I've not read. But anyway. Just let me adjust that. Get rid of that over there. Hello, Windgrace. Windgrace is afraid already. There he is. And Joshua's here. Yeah, howdy. So, yes, so that's what we're doing this week. Frankenstein, the true story. A 1973 TV version of the 1818 Mary Shelley, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley novel. Some say, possibly the first sci-fi novel, because it does have sci-fi elements in it, I suppose. But anyway, directed by Jack Smite, who I think is most famous for Airport 75. Is that the one that crashes into the sea? I think it is, isn't it? Stars James Mason, Leonard Whiting, David McCallum, Jane Seymour, Nicola Paget, Michael Sarrazin as the creature, and various others. We've also got Ralph Richardson and John Gielgud and Tom Baker to add a bit of class to the proceedings. What else? What else can I tell you? Well, made in the UK, filmed. I don't know where. It's somewhere in the UK. Don't ask me where. I have no idea. And at Pinewood Studios. And as I said, it's a TV movie released by Universal. I think it were broadcast on NBC in America over two nights or whatever. And it's jolly good. I really like it. Anyway, Josh, I had to backtrack to watch that amazing trailer. I wasn't really paying much attention to it, to be honest. And I noticed it were quiet. I can't do anything about that. I had my volume on full, so apologies if it were a bit low. But Archmage Frey is over on Twitch. It's true, it was there. Well, Archmage Frey, along with Windgrace, is everywhere. They are two immortal beings locked in combat in some sort of cosmic battle for supremacy. Anyway. Right, so let's get on with this film. But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. I'm live on YouTube, I'm live on Rumble, I'm live on Twitch. I've checked already. Later on, I'll upload it to Spotify, Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I think on Spotify you can watch the video. I'm not sure about Amazon and Google. Maybe you just listen to them. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's the Blu-ray, by the way. Looks lovely on Blu-ray, by the way. Watched it earlier on today. It looks spanking. It does. Anyway, links in the description for my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as has links to my two books, Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action adventure about UFOs, a silent predator, a short horror novella about big cats eating people in a North Yorkshire village. It's just a bit of fun. They're an Amazon Kindle and paperback and all that jazz. Right, let's get on with the film. As usual, we're just going to watch it in a series of stills. I might play the occasional bit. But we're just going to watch it in a series of stills, and I'll talk about it as we go and see if I can remember what's happened, because I don't take notes because I'm an idiot and I'm lazy. But I've read up on the film a little bit, so I might remember some things. Oh, sorry, yes, link to your ex. Yes, I forgot about that. Yes, it's not Twitter anymore, is it? We have to change that. I'm going to have to change that, aren't I? Where are we? That's I can never get this right. We'll have to change that over there, aren't I, to an X. Tell you, it's Elon, an alien. You can't, or is an alien robot. You can't handle words and stuff. Anyway, right, make myself teachy tiny. We're going to go down there today. I'm not going to make myself up there. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Right. So let's get this on. Go full screen before I start. Is it going to come on? Oh, there we go. Yeah. I haven't muted it. Hang on. Well, I'm dead organised. Right, off we go. There it is. There we begin. By the way, it's in 4:3 because it's a TV movie, so it's in 4:3 aspect ratio. So I can't do anything about the black bars. I can't. I suppose I could stretch it, I suppose, to fit screen. Can I do that? Video frame. I don't know. I can't work this out. I'm up. Oh, there you go. Aspect ratio. You see what happens? But then it'd squish them, wouldn't it? It'd make them squished. So no, we'll stick with the original. Anyway, Joshua says Musk is Thrawn. Yeah, well, yes, he is. Well, he's in Ahsoka. Looks just like him, doesn't he? And Wingray says Elon came from the hollow earth, and with his rockets he has touched the sky. Oh yes, very good. Is that a Star Trek reference? The earth is hollow, and I have touched the sky. Right. Was that the one where was it Kirk that got trapped for a while, or was it McCoy? I can't remember which one. I get them mixed up. Anyway, right. So let's get on with this. Right, off we go. Right, so we start off with the book. By the way, on the Blu-ray, there's an introduction by James Mason. I wish I could do an impression of James Mason. He's got an amazing voice, but I can't. Well, I think he's a Yorkshireman. I think. Just let me check. I'm sure it said. I'm sure I read somewhere. He's from Leeds. Where are we? Where is he? James Mason. Doesn't say there. Just let me. Where was he born? Huddersfield. I mean, even closer. He was born in Huddersfield. James Neville Mason. So there you go. So James Mason's a Yorkshireman. See, I'm causing division already. Look, Joshua saying Kirk and Wingrace is saying McCoy. I can't remember. But he's there for a while, isn't he? I think. I can't remember. I get them mixed up. There's one with like Native Americans, isn't there, and some sort of pillar, and there's I get mixed up with them. Anyway, we're not talking about Star Trek. We're talking about Frankenstein, the true story. Right, so off we go. By the way, as I said, I've not read the book. I don't know why. I just never got round to it. I've read Dracula. You know, of the classics of horror. I've read Dracula, and I've read Carmella. That were a long time ago by I forgot his name now. Sheridan Le Fanu. I think that's Carmella, isn't it? Or is it Carmilla? Whatever. Carmella's a wrestler, isn't she? Carmilla. But anyway, right, so off we go. Dramatic orchestral music, it says there. Got subtitles on, obviously. Right, so is it going to do it? You're going to behave yourself. Right. Pointer. Right, so we begin. There you go, Frankenstein, the true story. Starring James Mason from Huddersfield. Oh, Windgrace is still going on about Star Trek, obviously. Paradise Syndrome was the Native Americans. Is that one? Right. That's that one. Right, fair enough. Then we've got Leonard Whiting as I'll just do that. As Victor Frankenstein. Jane Seymour in an early role, same year as she did Live and Let Die, James Bond film. Fun fact about Jane Seymour, which I found out today, a real name, coincidentally, is Frankenberg. Well, not a real name, a birth name. It's Frankenberg, so quite close to what she is in this film. I'll not spoil it. There we go. Michael Sarrazin as the creature, and there's other people in it as well. David McCallum, as I said, and some others. There we go. Michael Wilding. Was this before Battlestar Galactica? Yes, it was 5 years before Battlestar Galactica. Agnes Moorehead was a famous old actress, isn't she? But I can't remember what she was in. It's off the top of my head. Oh, name rings a bell. Sir Ralph Richardson, he plays the old blind man. Tom Baker, who a year later would become Doctor Who. Oh, sorry, the Doctor. From the classic novel. Right, we begin. Right. There's also Sir John Gielgud in it as well. Obviously, skipping this, it skipped over some of the credits. Never mind. Right, so we begin with Victor Frankenstein and his fiancée, whose name I've obviously forgotten because I'm an idiot. I think it's Elizabeth. God, I'm useless. Elizabeth, yes, Elizabeth Fanshawe. It's his fiancée, played by Nicola Paget. I'm sure I'll forget many more names. Oh, I've done that again. There we go. See, people are talking at me. Endor, yes, in Bewitched, yes, it's played, yes, that's where I know her from. Not that I watched Bewitched a lot, but I do remember her from that. Yes, that's the one. Did it? No, I'm thinking of. No, it is that one, isn't it? Did, and wiggles her nose. But never mind. Right, so we begin. So, there we go. Elizabeth, as usual, with these oldie, like 19th century tales, they're always done in like the form of diaries and personal notes and stuff, aren't they? Like that for some reason. But it must have been the style. So we tell it, so it's Victor's voiceover. Elizabeth and I were deeply in love. There we go. They're going to be married. And then his brother William is out on a boat. There we go. One tragic day, they were by a lake, being all posh and 18th century. By the way, it's set in the 18th century. Written in 1818 with the original book. But all the dates in the book, apparently, are in the 18th century, 17, whatever. She was only 19 when she wrote it, Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. There you go. As part of a what do you call it? What they call it? Like a competition between the Lord Byron, weren't there, and Shelley, Mary's husband, the poet Shelley, and also Polidori, weren't there, Dr. Polidori, who were going to write The Vampire with a Y. Anyway, right. Anyway, he falls in. There's William, and he can't swim, and he drowns, and there he is dead. So he's lost his brother already as Victor. We learn he's a doctor, by the way. So he's not happy. And by the way, I know him from somewhere. Who is in Space 1999? Among other things, he might have been in the Wild Geese as well. Anyway, there's lots of faces in this that I know, and I've looked on IMDb and they're not listed. So I can't bring them forward. Anyway, so after the service, is unhappy, is Victor, and he wants to know why he can't raise people from the dead. If God can create life, why can't he create life from the dead? So off, and obviously Elizabeth doesn't want him to speak of such blasphemy and all that. Anyway, got to work this out. He wants to going back to the hospital, does some more studying. His guardian, this isn't his dad. Apparently the parents died when they were young, I suppose. And being raised by this Lord Fanshawe. So they've been, raised well in a rich home. Anyway, so he's saying, why don't you set up your own practice? And he says, no, I want to go back to the hospital, do some more studying. So that's what he's going to do. But off he goes in a minute when they're done wittering. Right, so they're going to go getting in his carriage. And, farewell to Elizabeth. There we go. In he goes. Lots of carriages in this, by the way. Lots of carriages. I don't know the stately home, what they're filming this at. There's a couple that we see. Don't ask me what they are, because England's filled with them. Throw a stone in the air and it'll land on a stately home. So anyway, off he goes. Off they go to London. Oh, there's a sign there. Look, London, pointing in the right direction. Don't tell us how far away it is. Just London, that way. Right, so anyway, night has fallen. He's in the carriage with this chap. I think he's got a name. I'm sure it says in the Arnold Diamond, passenger in coach. That's who that fella is. And he's telling him that he looks very sad. And he says, well, my brother just died. He says, all right, fair enough. So they're going through this town, obviously shot day for night. Very, very sharp shadows on that for night time, isn't it? Unless it's a really bright moon. So anyway, in the come, there's been an accident. Obviously, there must be some 24-hour mill. This fella's had his arm caught in a mill wheel or something. It must be a 24-hour mill. So they bundle him in the carriage and take him to the hospital. And this passenger in carriage is saying, you presume upon my good nature, you man. I bid you good day, sir. And Victor's saying, no, we're going to help this man. Besides, I will go into the hospital anyway. So they take him into the hospital. This is where we meet David McCallum. Oh, before that, we meet Eutha Joyce as whatever she's called. Does it say? I'll tell you in a minute. I've seen the name Hospital Matron. That's all it says. Eutha Joyce, famous in the UK for playing Mildred in George and Mildred. Also played the same character in Man About the House. Comedy series in the UK. I say you lot in America probably don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, she's famous in the UK, so there she is. So she's happy to see him. So they're going to go deal with this chap. Here he is, looking. By the way, he's really drunk. They've been plying him with alcohol, so he, has no idea what's going on. So when we meet David McCallum, he comes in. He's the surgeon. Henry. I forgot his name now. Is it Clavel or I can't remember now. He's in the book. Clerval, that's it. Henry Clerval. You've got it spelled with a Y there, but I'm sure in this they spell it with an I. Like Henri. But anyway, never mind. So there we go. That arm is beautiful. So we know what he's doing, don't we? We know what Henry Clerval's doing. They decide they've got to take the arm off. They've got to hold him, give him some more booze, get the bucket to catch the blood. He's going to start cutting, and then he gets the saw out. Here he goes, hold him tight. Oh, sawing his arm off. It's quite, by the way, for a TV movie, this is quite gruesome. Not overly gruesome, but quite gruesome. Is that his gum? Can we see his gum in his mouth there? Looks it, doesn't it? Wingrace says, don't worry, I'm sure Man About the House will be on US TV this fall as new content during the strike. We're out in the mid-70s. I had Eutha Joyce, Brian Murphy, Richard, I forgot his name now. Oh, he was famous in the UK in the 70s and early 80s. And other people. Anyway. Basically, the thing, Man About the House, a comedy series, and this Richard fella, I forgot his name. He went on to play Dick Turpin. He was a burglar, and he broke into the house of these two young ladies that lived by themselves, and he basically just ended up moving in with them. And then in the spin-off series called Robin's Nest, because it was called Robin Tripp in the series, it would go on to open a small restaurant with a one-armed dishwasher. Right, anyway, That's enough of that. Richard O'Sullivan, that's it. That's the fella, Richard O'Sullivan. Yes. Anyway, right, they've chopped this fella's arm off. So there we go. So he's pleased with himself, is Henry. By the way, obviously David McCallum, famous for, Man from Uncle, The Invisible Man, and of course, Sapphire and Steel, and loads of other stuff. Right, so I'm going to sew him up. And, that's the last we see of him. I presume he's fine. Fellow with the one arm. He goes on to say, he says, in a year, in a few months, you'll be saying you lost it at Waterloo. So it must be set after the Battle of Waterloo then. So it must be the early 1800s then, because that was 1805-ish. 1805. Gonna have to look that up now. Do my own Googling. Battle of Waterloo. 1815. Well, it's Trafalgar that were 1805. I'm going to have to look that up now. I bet I'm still wrong. Yes, that were 1805. Right. Get me battles mixed up. Right. Anyway, whatever. Right. So these two are going to join forces now because it turns out they've both got the same thing in mind. They want to raise the dead. I was going to show him his lab bit. We also learn he kind of suffers from, it looks like some sort of epilepsy. He has seizures, some form of epilepsy. He keeps having seizures and he takes some medicine for it. I'm sure I don't know what it is. But we see that in a bit. There we go. He's having one of his seizures. So he saves him. If he doesn't take his medicine, by the way, he dies. There you go. He's got the arm in the in his case, as you would. The secret's out. Right, so we're going to show him his lab now. So off they go to his lab. More carriages and oldie-worldy buildings. The churches, obviously. It's sodded off. Some time has passed now. Victor's been at the hospital doing his studies and stuff and work. And Henry, see, I told you it's spelled with an I. Look, Henry shushes. And Henry's been off doing something else. I was going to take him to see his workplace. There we go. They're talking about bringing, life from lifelessness, like the Genesis device, back to Star Trek. So off they go. There we go. So this is like I suppose like the windmill or the old Universal films or the Frankenstein's lab in his castle. It's that. This is Henry Clerval's workplace. So here we go. So he's got all his gear, but they don't use lightning in this. Lightning is in it, but they don't use lightning. They use solar power to reanimate the creature. He's going to show him. He's got a dead bug there, and he's going to bring the bug back to life with the power of the sun and stuff, and electricity. Obviously, it is electricity, but it's not lightning. Doing the electricity. 1.21 gigawatts. It's not that. Anyway, so it brings the bug back to life. So it shows him he can reanimate dead things. It says with insects and bugs, they only stay alive for a couple of hours. But then it says you want to see something, and he shows him the arm. So like a month's passed because he says it's been alive for over a month. So a month has passed. This is the arm, and it's still alive, and it's a really good, like a really good prosthetic, isn't it? It looks really good and shows him moving it about, and I say it's wobbly and wibbly and really good model, I suppose. Oh, he's talking solar power. That's crazy talk. I know. Renewables, It's all nonsense. Is it a bee? A zombie? Oh, no, it's a zombie beetle. Very good. Anyway, so it says touch the arm. Touches it and it grabs hold of him. And there you go, says it's warm. grab him now. It's obviously changed. You can see it's changed now. It's not a puppet anymore. It's a real hand. So it grabs hold of his hand. So anyway, so obviously he's in now. We've got to find a way to complete his work, and all his stuff is being building, but it hasn't been able to finish it. But with Victor's help, we'll be able to finish it. So there we go. So use the power of the sun to bring a dead man back to life. They talk about Prometheus, not the film. Prometheus, who gave the power of fire to man and was punished by the gods. They talk about that because obviously the book title is Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus or something like that, isn't it? So he wants it to be finished by spring, obviously when it gets more sunny. So they're going to set about to that. So here we go. Industry, working, sewing, knocking wood together, etc. Bit of a montage as Henry supervises. What's happening there? Sort of lens to. Oh, there we go. It's showing him the sun, the power of the sun. He says he's creating an eclipse. Yes, it was also the X303, the Prometheus, wasn't it? Which was destroyed, wasn't it, by the RI or by a weapon built by somebody. Instructions from the RI. Very sad. But it were ugly anyway. The new ones are better, the Daedalus class. But that's Stargate. Stop going on a tangent. Oh, right. So they're going to use the sun with lots of mirrors and reflectors and bubbling water and different coloured liquids in tubes going and all that. But anyway. Right, looks like we're back at Lord Fanshaw's pad. There we go. There's Elizabeth, and this is Lady Fanshawe, played by Clarissa Kay. I think that's her name. I'll just double check. I'm sure it's Clarissa Kay. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, Clarissa Kay, who at the time was James Mason's wife. And you may also recognise her. Hang on, see if I can have another view of her from the front. From Salem's Lot. She played Marjorie Glick in Salem's Lot, which we did, back in the day on Friday Night Appointment with Fear. Right, so they're talking about they're talking about Victor and how he's busy with his work and he hasn't been in touch with her. So she's going to go and see him. So anyway, so back at this lovely village, wherever it is, I don't know where it is, but it's got a church in the background. Could be anywhere. Probably in Hertfordshire or Herefordshire or Hampshire, where hurricanes hardly ever happen. Anyway, so she's arrived in her carriage, obviously. She's knocking on the door, and this is this is Agnes Moorehead, yeah, as Mrs. Blair, putting on a bit of a Scottish accent, a bit of faint Scottish accent. She's here to see Victor. Said, tell her Elizabeth Fanshaw's here, his fiancée. So, oh, come in, lovey. There we go. Come in, I'm sure. He goes up and says, there's a lady to see Dr. Victor. And you hear David McCallum saying, tell her to go the hell away or whatever. There we go. Tell her to go to hell. He says who it is. It's his fiancée. And it comes out and he's all happy. He's Victor. There you go. So he's going to introduce her to Henry, who's not best pleased. He doesn't want to see her. But the first thing she does, she notices these butterflies here, particularly that one. And he gives it a name. I can't remember what he says. But she says, that's lovely. And he says the Latin name for it. And that comes back later on, near the end, actually. So anyway, he excuses himself. So I've got work to do. So he buggers off. And oh, there we go. This one is beautiful. See what he says it is. Come on. Tell us. There we go. Brasolis astera. That name comes back later. I'll probably forget. Right, so he's gone. And she's saying, you look overworked and I haven't heard from you, for ages. And he says, yes, that's thoughtless of me. She wants to know what he's doing. Joshua says, if he'd seen her, he'd never have said for her to go to hell. I don't know. He's a funny one, is Henry. He's a funny one. I don't think he's into the ladies. Or the men, I don't think he's into that at all. He's all about his work and his research. And but she's lovely, is Nicola Paget. She could do to eat a few pies, but never mind. Same with Jane Seymour. She's gorgeous and stuff, but I always thought, eat some chips and pies and stuff, love. Put some meat on your bones. Anyway. Right, so she wants to know what's going on. And he says he can't tell her, but he's going to show her. So I'll show you at 7 o'clock tonight. So going to learn later. He says, come back later. And we go at 7 o'clock. So there she is. We noticed the butterfly's not there anymore. I wonder where it could be. Anyway, we do see it. Here it comes in a minute. Oh, there it is there. It's on the book, on the Holy Bible. It's some sort of blasphemous show of bringing things back to life. Power of God and all that. She touches it and then it flutters about as though it's on some sort of string. But, it's a butterfly. What do you expect? So anyway, so she's not happy about that. And he goes, I did it for you, Elizabeth. She says, it's unholy and all that. And she ends up splattering it with the Bible. In it. There you go. It's unholy. And Henry comes back in. Can't even fasten his buttons right. I've just noticed that. I've noticed his buttons are all skew with. Because that's the way he is. He's all about the work and not about his appearance or about relationships. Anyway, so he's not happy that he's told that Victor's told Elizabeth. He says, I'd like a word with you in private. So they go to another room, and while they're in the other room, there you go, the butterfly scares her, so she splatters it with the Bible. There we go. Don't think she killed a real butterfly. If you're watching PETA, PETA, that organisation. So he butters up Henry, there's Victor, but she's gone. She's sodded off, and see that she's killed the butterfly. So there we go. So he goes after her, and says, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do this. You should leave. And I think she says, if I were a man, I would kill Henry. I thought, crikey, steady on, love. But because it says, in the presence of evil, it's all evil and stuff. I'm going to have to blow my nose. Just bear with me a minute. Bear with me. I'll be back any second now. I've got to blow my nose. Hey, you don't see bogies. Just bear with me. I'm back. I had to blow my nose. I could feel something tickling inside. Anyway, Joshua says, good thing it wasn't Mayday with the strung butterfly. Oh, yeah. A View to a Kill, James Bond film, Mayday, Grace Jones. Cool film. Not all James Bond films are cool film. I like them all. Right, there we go. Oh, just missed that bit, didn't I? Just saw it. Oh, let's go back. There we go. If I were a man, I think I should kill him. Crikey. When you heard her. There you go. So, anyway, as she's going out, Mrs. Blair comes in. Have you heard the news? There's been a terrible accident. Says, telling them. And 7 young men are being killed in some sort of, I don't know, some quarry or something. I don't know. Keeping the bodies in the stables. There you go. So they go and check them out. There's obviously wanting parts, body parts. So they're basically shopping. They're going there thinking, but if there's any alive, we'll do what we can, but there ain't. So they're shopping for legs and arms and heads and all that. There we go. That's what they're going to do later. Now that they know that they've got something to work with. All right. Oh, here we meet Dr. Polidori, who is not in the book. Is based on Dr. Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein. But he's named after the real Dr. Polidori, who wrote The Vampire. At the same time as Frankenstein were written. At that competition that they had with Byron and Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley and Polidori. Blah, blah, blah. Right, whatever. I suppose if you want to know that, I suppose the film Gothic goes into that. I think it does. I've not actually seen it. It's on YouTube. If you search for it on YouTube, it's there. Anyway, or it used to be. Right. So, apparently, Dr. Polidori is an old acquaintance of Henry's, obviously played by James Mason. An old acquaintance of Henry's. They used to work together. He didn't think that, obviously for the same reasons, and he didn't think using the sun would work. He has his own methods that he's experimenting with, and the parted company, different. What's the word? Not poetic differences. You know what I mean? Artistic differences, whatever. We were colleagues for a short while, but it says without him, he's helpless as a baby. And we found out why he is actually helpless as a baby, is Dr. Polidori, because he can't use his hands. He's got one hand totally missing, and another hand is like mashed potato fella off Scary Movie 2. Take my strong hand. That one. We see it later on. Anyway, so there they are, digging up graves for those bodies. I thought as doctors that they said that they intervened, wouldn't you? And they said we will store these bodies at our somewhere. I don't know, but anyway. Wingray says Gothic is for buy or rent on YouTube. It's also free on Tubi. All right. I thought it were on YouTube. I thought somebody uploaded it. Maybe they're taking it off. I'm sure there's a like British horror movies. I'm looking it up now. I'm sure there's like a British horror movies channel. Horror films, it might be that one. Classic British horror films. That's the one. I think. Let me check. And it used to be on there. Yes, it is. It's still on there. Still on there. Is it playing? Yeah, it's playing for me. I'll copy the link and I'll put it in the chat. There we go. Pop that in the chat if you want to follow that. There we go. Right, where were we? Where were we? I've not got around to watching it yet. Not got around to watching it. I've heard it's quite good. Anyway, get rid of that. Right, so what's happening now? They've got all these body parts now, haven't they? So they didn't go into detail showing all the digging up of stuff. They just got the parts under ice back at the lab. And there's Victor busy doing something. And they're sewing. Oh, they're sewing it all together. I'm presuming he's really good at microsurgery, sewing all the veins and capillaries and arteries and stuff like that, sewing all that lot together. I'm guessing he's like that. Oh, Link says video unavailable for me. Have to try VPN. Oh, right. Oh, I didn't realise it were region locked or whatever. It's a bit poo, isn't it? Never mind. Video unavailable. What does that say? This content comes blocked in your country. All right. Never mind. You can watch it on Tubi. If it's good, like I say, I'm recommending it, but I've never seen it. But I know it's about the creation of Frankenstein and that little party that they had, didn't they? It was in Switzerland they had it, or somewhere like that. Anyway, right. So Yes, they're still talking about Dr. Polidori, and we learned that Henry used to call him Polidolly, which is something that'll come back later on. And there he goes, afraid of electricity, thunderstorms, he hides under the bed and stuff like that. He's terrified of lightning and all that, which again comes into play later on. The old fool. But anyway, so they're going to get ready now. Going to bring this this body back to life. But there's only one catch. Henry wants the brain. He wants a new brain to put in the head. You know, they've got a brain of some lad, but it's, you know, like a country bumpkin. But Victor says, well, we can re-educate him. But Henry wants, you know, a scientist brain, a man of learning, but they haven't got one yet. There's the body waiting. And they were saying, surely it can be educated. Anyway, so they're going to get some rest before the attempt. He is. I thought he was going to burst into song here. David McCallum. He has a little scene where he's talking. He's pretending to announce his findings and his discovery to like, you know, the Royal Academy and all that. He's taking sole credit. He never mentions Victor. So anyway. But he does this, and then I think he has a little attack. Here we go. Yes, here he goes. He's going. Oh no, not yet. There's a knock on the door. It's the cupboard door, and it's that arm. That arm has got out, and he's realised something's gone wrong because it doesn't look well. It doesn't look like it did before. It looks a bit. I suppose the word is manky. So he puts it back. And he starts writing down the process is R. He says it's reversing itself. He starts writing, gets to R, and he has an attack. There we go. The process is he has an attack, and he can't get his medicine, and he knocks it down the thing, and he dies. So he lies there dead. And then Victor comes back in. Morning, I presume. Back in, finds him dead. My God, he's dead. I've got to do it all by myself. He still get all the credit. But then, you know, he quickly thinks, I can use his brain. I can put his brain in you know, the body. So that's what he's going to do. And there we go. The process is, and he says, ready to begin. So he's going to begin now. So he's going to cut open his head and put his brain into Michael Sarrazin. Who I've not seen in anything else, Michael Sarrazin. I looked him up, and he's been in a lot of stuff, but nothing I've seen. Anyway. Right, so going to, he's writing a letter to Elizabeth saying they're starting a new experiment, etc., blah, blah, blah. All right, so he's going to get this going now. The power of the sun is going to reanimate the creature. I could have swore they called him Adam in this. But I must be thinking of another film or something else that I've seen. But I'm sure they called him. I'm thinking of Rocky Horror. It could be. Could be. Anyway. I think he's got his goggles on because there's a lot of light going on. Like teeth there, don't they? Anyway, so we're going to get all this going, and all the liquids are going to be all bubbling soon and arcing and all that. There we go. Doing it all. Still not as good as the old, you know, Universal movies, is it? It's not as good as that with Clive, not Clive Revel, him anyway. All this electric stuff's going up. That's what we want, don't we? But never mind. Can't have everything. Anyway, and while all that's happening, this is like, I presume it's trying to start his heart. That's going like that. I presume it's trying to start his heart. So. Anyway, so off it's going, and he's watching it, and all the stuff's bubbling away, and then the clouds arrive, and everything stops. As we see in a minute, all goes off, and the things stop bubbling. So he's got to start working the bellows manually. It starts going back up, but then the sun comes out again. That's what England's like, you know. You get clouds, and then they're clear, and the sun comes out. It doesn't rain every day. In fact, it's been lovely here for the last couple of days and really hot. Anyway, so there we go. and getting all that done. And the creature comes to life. By the way, we can hear the knocking on the door. Obviously, the arm's out again. It's knocking on this door, but he can't hear it because of all the machinery going. Everything. Oh, they're starting to glow now. Look, and everything's going. And then there's a big explosion. Cool, and all that. Everything's collapsing, and I think he gets knocked down as Victor. We'll see. Look, look, gets knocked over. And then the creature, it's alive! There you go, creature gasps. So he sits up, and he comes down the stairs, sees Victor there. By the way, creature, spoilers, all the way through this film, has nothing but love for Victor. I don't know about the book, but in the traditional Frankenstein films, it's always the monster that the Frankenstein's always destroyed by his own monster, isn't it? Hey, Joshua's love your sound effects, Steve. Oh, well. Etc. Yeah, and he shows nothing but love for Victor all the way through this film, even though Victor's terrible to him most of the time. Anyway, so he comes down, hooks him up, and then he takes the bandages off, and he looks amazing. He looks like Michael Sarrazin. Who kind of reminds me of Peter Fonda, a young Peter Fonda. But anyway, I think he says, "You're beautiful," and then the creature just mimics beautiful. I could have sworn they were going to call him Adam in this, but I must be thinking of something else. They don't. In fact, he never gives him a name. Surprise me. I mean, they could have, given him a name, couldn't they? But I was watching it, I was thinking, well, why did he bother just putting the head, taking the brain out of David McCallum and sticking it on in Michael Sarrazin? Why didn't he just take David McCallum's head off, sew it onto that, and then see what happened? And if he's fine, say, look, Henry Clerval's fine. Look, he's maybe a bit taller than he was before, but he's fine. Or if it went wrong and he were all like, mentally subpar, they could say, oh, he's had one of his attacks and he's had a stroke or whatever. But they didn't. They didn't. Anyway, so there we go. There you go. Oh, by the way, still got Henry there in his coffin. Right, so he's going to take. Oh no, but yeah, he don't call him Adam, but he says he's our Adam. But he never calls him Adam. I say, you are beautiful, and then he repeats it because he repeats. We learn later on with the bride that I said the mimics basically. Once you bring somebody back to life, they become amazing mimics for some reason. Anyway, so he lets him rest. Does a lot of resting apparently. We'll learn later. Right, so this is Henry Clerval's funeral. There you go. Polidor is arrived because he knew him. All right, so he's bringing. I'm going to call him Adam. No, they don't call him that. I'm going to call him Adam. Brings Adam back to his rooms with nothing on his feet. I was thinking, why don't you give him some bloody shoes? But there's a reason. There's a reason. It's just for a line that's in it. It's a bit silly, but it brings him in, and Mrs. Blair's there. He says, "This is a friend from overseas. He's come to stay for a while, and just while he finds his feet." And then she goes, "Finds his feet," and then she looks and sees that there's nothing on his feet. There we go. She's looking. Oh, never mind. Just missed it. Never mind. All right, so going to educate Adam now. There was the mirror, looking in the mirror at his beautiful face. He was sitting down to dinner. By the way, it tells everybody that it doesn't speak much English. So there. But he does mimic and imitate people. He does pick things up, but he's not like like me. He's not overly smart, but he's not a mental giant or anything like that. It doesn't seem to be. Right, so showing him how to basically use cutlery, etc., and drinking wine and all that. There we go. So everything's going swimmingly so far. There you go, showing him the airs and graces. Learning he can find things. He knows what a window is. He knows what a bookcase is. He knows what books are. He can count, etc. You know, he knows all the basics. He's not an idiot. He's not, you know, as I said, he's not a mental genius or anything like that. So where we learn he sleeps a lot and he's really cold, apparently 25 degrees colder than normal. So learn that. And we learn later on, basically, he's Captain Scarlet. He's indestructible. Right. So I think it might be later. He's got a suit for him because they're going to the opera. There they are. They're at the opera. And he meets I forgot her name now. I forgot her name now. Where are we? Françoise Duval, Countess Françoise Duval, played by Margaret Leighton, who would a year later appear in From Beyond the Grave, that we've also done in Friday Night Appointment with Via. If you have a look back, check the playlist. There is a playlist. So she's quite taken with Adam. And we learned that she's got 30 million francs to play with, but that doesn't come up again. I thought they were going to use her, you know, for the money to carry on the research, but that never comes up again. But she does appear later on. She's like there for comedy relief. Anyway, so they make their say their goodbyes and go back because it starts yawning and stuff. Later, right? So he's back and he's tired. Says, "You were brilliant. You're amazing." Oh my! And he was mimicking French as well. They've gone to see Figaro. It's another thing that keeps reoccurring. He liked it. He liked the opera. He wants to go see more Figaro. But at the moment he's going to sleep, and this is where we learn things are going wrong. As you can see there, they're going to show it. There we go. He's starting to go manky on the back of his ears. Maybe he just needs to wash. Could be potatoes growing. Yes, they should have done a Dirty Rotten Scoundrels bit. Yeah. Another film I've not seen. I just know what it's about. Anyway, so he's going manky. So things are going awry from now on. Right. I don't know what's happening there. What's that? Fade out, won't it? Fade out. Right. So he's packing up. Where's he going? I can't remember. Maybe, I don't know. Can't remember. He's packing up for something. The arm's got out again. And then as he sees it's going, and so it's proper manky now, look, and he gets some acid. And as you can see, it's got the same little things on that are on Adam. So instead of researching it as like a scientist and wondering what's going on, he just says it's reversing itself or whatever, and just pours acid on it. It's quite effective, that, isn't it? And quite gruesome, to be completely honest. But 1973 TV movie. So he just melts it in acid, and then who's here now? Is it? Somebody's come. It's either Adam or it's Dr. Polidori. I can't remember. We shall see. It's Adam. He says, "Oh, how did you find your way here?" So it must have followed him. Where I think he sees that he's got the things behind his ears. Sees that something's wrong. Oh no, he sees them later. He hasn't noticed them yet. It must be hidden by his cravat. So they're in the park, and then Are there in the park having a lovely time in the park? Dr. Polidori comes to see Mrs. Blair, and he asks her about does she have a room, because he's got a friend coming over from the continent who needs a room. He says, I've only got one room, and a lovely gentleman has it. He says, well, could I see it? And she says, oh no, I couldn't do that. And then we learn he's a hypnotist. It was mentioned earlier on. David McCallum said that Henry had told him that he tried to hypnotize him once and it didn't work. But it works on Mrs. Blair, as we'll see here. Can you show me the room? She says, no. Then he hypnotizes her. As we'll see. There we go. There we go. He's hypnotizing. Look. Ooh. You will take me to see the room. I will take you to see the room. Up they go. Meanwhile, back in the park, this little girl comes running over, says, hello. And he just says hello back to her. And they just say hello to each other. Then he picks her up and they're spinning around. And I thought, when I first saw it, he was going to chuck her in the lake, you know, like in the film, the Boris Karloff one. But he doesn't. This is where he notices. This is where Victor notices the nodules under his ear. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. I don't know. Oh, the room. Yeah, to see the room. Oh dear. Great film. Anyway, so he's playing with this girl, and then he notices the and takes him away. Polidori is checking the room, and then he comes out and unhypnotizes her, and they just carry on. That's it. She doesn't realize anything's happened, so off he goes. And Victor and Adam are back. He's having nightmares. Is Adam, and then I think he smashes this mirror now in a fit of temper. He's going to do it. He does it anyway. Smashes this mirror. Adam comes out to see what's going on. There you go. He smashed the mirror. And I would also, I think there's been another passage of time, by the way. He's kept him locked up for weeks now, and he's noticed he's starting to degenerate, and he's getting big bony brows. He's starting to look like a Neanderthal. But it's still, his character, Adam's character doesn't change. It seems, he's still a gentle person. It seems, but he's not beautiful anymore. And as he's seeing Victor crying, there we go. We see he's starting to go, a bit funny. Gets worse. He gets worse. They're not coming out of the room. He's telling Mrs. Blair that Adam's poorly and it's infectious. And she says, well, I helped all my brood through chicken pox and mumps and measles. He says, I am a doctor, There you go. Said bed linen ought to be changed, etc. He says he wants to go there because he's getting worse. Look, it's getting worse. He wants to go see Figaro again. He says, no, sit down, damn you! Because he's been horrible to him now because he's not beautiful anymore. Anyway, what's going to happen now? He's trying to doing the things they did before, getting him 2 books and stuff. But he sees that Victor's not happy. He's going to go out to watch Figaro himself. There he was all dressed up. And Mrs. Blair comes in and she sees him in a minute. So she's going to jump out and Figaro! And Mrs. Blair has a conniption fit and falls in a dead faint. And Victor's gone to see Peter Sallis, this priest, as we see when he turns around. Peter Sallis, who you may know, obviously in the UK from Last of the Summer Wine, but abroad he's probably more famous for being the voice of Wallace in the Wallace and Gromit animated short and movie. Wingrace says, looking more like Mr. Hyde. Yes, well, but he doesn't have a personality change, though, does he? He's just deteriorating physically. But as I said, he never loses his love for Victor, even though Victor's been horrible to him. He never loses. He never wants to hurt Victor at all. He'll hurt other people, but not Victor. Anyway, so Victor's gone to seek advice from the priest, even though he says he's not a believer. Anyway, so he goes back and he finds Mrs. Blair. She's not quite dead, and she says, Figaro, and then croaks. Oh, not yet. Not yet, in a minute. Right, it goes back up now. He finds her. And then she says, Figaro. So he goes out and he just catches up with him. Look, he's just going to go in the stage, look, stage door there. And Victor catches up with him, says, Mrs. Blair is dead. He's taking him back to the lab. So I presume there's going to be another passage of time. It's about using the acid on him. Tell you, he's turned into a horrible person as Victor. And now Victor's asleep there now. Adam starts looking for a reflective surface so he can see himself, and eventually he does. There he does, and he goes running off. Ah, Victor, I'm not, beautiful and all that, etc. So he's upset. He tries killing himself. That's it. He stabs himself, and he's got like purple blood for some reason. We see later on, Jane Seymour, her blood's purple. I don't know if it's a TV thing and they couldn't use red blood, but we saw red blood earlier. Maybe it's just to show that they're different. I don't know. Because he can't kill himself. As I said, he's like indestructible. Din, 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 din. So anyway, so he goes off running. Got a very peculiar run, a very Brad Boimler run. You ready? Dear. But they're running off, and there we go. They're heading to. Is that Beachy Head? It could be. I've no idea. I've never been there. It's a famous place in Kent, of the White Cliffs of Dover, where people used to jump off a lot. Maybe they still do. I don't know. Spoilers. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, the Jane Seymour bit. We'll get there. Where were we? So obviously he said, he's not beautiful. He doesn't say that. He just keeps saying beautiful, and of course, meaning he's not beautiful anymore. And he sees that Victor's unhappy, so he throws himself off the cliff, and that's quite never mind. And lands in the water, and Victor just walks off. And I think we see a car driving by. Do you see that little white dot there? I'm sure that's a car. You ready? Looks like it, doesn't it? Maybe it were a carriage. A white carriage. Anyway, he walks off, but then Adam gets washed up on the beach. Gets up and heads off, and we get that's end of part 1. Then we go to part right. At the end, it has a next time on Frankenstein: The True Story. So we'll skip past all this as quick as we can. Spoil it for you. My favourite studio ident, the Universal one from the 70s. I love that. Right. And then we have a previously on Frankenstein: The True Story. So we'll get past all this bit. Oh, there we go. Off we go. Right, Frankenstein: True Story, Part 2, Splashing. Oh, press wrong button. There we go. Right, so there we go. He's on the beach, gets up and heads out. And this is where we meet Sir Ralph Richardson as the old blind man. I don't think he has a name. Have a look. Oh, he has. Mr. Lacey is called. I didn't realise he had a name in this. Oh, pardon me. That cliff reminds me a bit of the one in The Dark with Sean Bean and Maria Bello. I've not seen that one. I don't think. It could be Beachy Head. I don't know. Shall we look it up? Let's look up Beachy Head. Beachy Head. Yes, it is. It is Beachy Head. There we go. Yes, it is. So yes, it's a famous. If you look up Beachy Head on YouTube, you have a photo, and that's it. It's a famous point on the White Cliffs of Dover, where apparently a lot of people had to chuck themselves off. I think they've put fencing and stuff up now to stop people doing that. Anyway, right. I've never been to Kent. I think the furthest south in the UK I've been is Bournemouth. Anyway, right, which isn't in Kent. Right, Ralph Richardson's having a little siesta with his dog. His dog starts growling as Adam comes round the corner. I'm going to keep calling him Adam, by the way. So there we go. So obviously it befriends him. Good stuff. The Dark, based on Welsh folklore and some messed up religious folk. I might have seen. I can't remember. It does ring a bell. I think I'm thinking of there's a James Herbert book that might have been made into a film called The Dark, but I could be wrong. But that's an old one anyway. I think that was from either late 70s or early 80s. Anyway, right. So the old man befriends him and takes him back to his lovely little cottage with his Highland cows. There you go, lovely little thatched roof cottage. He goes, gets him something dry. So he's playing the violin for him. There he is. They're all having fun. By the way, his granddaughter is Jane Seymour. She's called Agatha at the moment. So anyway, so they're all having fun. There we go. I think there you go. His granddaughter's coming back. This is where we're meeting Jane Seymour, and I think Adam buggers off out the back. I think we have a guest inside, but I think by the time he's in there, he's gone. There we go. And that's Agatha's beau is like the odd job man for Mr. Lacey. This was based on a book by Simon Maggin called Sheep. All right. As I said, I might have seen it. It does ring a bell, but I said I'm old and I forget things. Anyway, watching films a lot of time. Watching films for me is like watching them for the first time. I'm sure I've had a stroke or something. I don't know. Anyway, where were we? So he's not there. He's sneaked off and says I invited him to dinner, so he'll be back. So he's hanging around. He's Adam, and then he sees Agatha. He falls in love with Agatha immediately. Agatha, he says. And these two are in love. I forgot his name. The odd job man. Does it say? It might just be him, Julian Barnes, young man. It could be. I don't know. Hello, DJ. Welcome to the show. We're about halfway. We're about halfway through Frankenstein, the true story. And what is that? No, it can't be him. No, that must be the other fella. He's hanging about outside, isn't he, Adam? She's reading from the Bible. Yes, he is. Looks like Han Solo there, doesn't he? 10,000 all in advance. So anyway, so she's reading from the Bible, and he can hear her, and it all sinks in. Does what she's saying. The Bible quote. I can't remember what it is. Oh, it's the Legion quote, because they're asking. It's when Jesus is casting the demons out or whatever, and says, "We are Legion, for we are many." That's what he hears. So obviously, he must realise. Maybe Adam realises he's a patchwork quilt of a person, made from different body parts. So he's calling himself Legion. Legion. The dog. I don't think the dog likes Adam growling. Anyway, so I'm going to check, but he's not there. So goes back and there he goes, found the dog. I think something were up with the dog and I can't remember. I can't remember, but he's brought the dog back. I can't remember what happened to the dog. Never mind. Right, it goes. Yeah, it goes. It follows Agatha, and she's gone to see young man. I'm sure he's got a name, but see them kissing and noodling. Adam's watching all that. He doesn't seem to be getting jealous, though. I said, I don't think he's not very good with emotions. He knows he likes Agatha, but I don't think he's feeling particularly jealous at the moment. It doesn't look to be anyway. He's just watching. Anyway, so he goes back watching the cottage again. And there we go. He's gone back to see the old man as Adam, but they're about to burst in on him. And obviously, it's all going to go awry now. Here we go. So she's screaming, and the young man's there, and he knocks Agatha down. She's fine, by the way. Ralph Richardson, sorry, Mr. Lacey, is not happy about this. And Adam accidentally kills the young man. He might have a name. I'll call him Han Solo. Accidentally kills him. And Agatha comes to and finds him dead. Look, lots of claret. Mr. Lacey's not happy. So she's going to go running out, asking for help. So she's running in the middle of the path. Of course, a carriage is coming. As I said, lots of carriages in this film. She's waving in that direction, but the carriage is coming the other way, as we'll see. There we go. So I don't know, but anyway, and she gets run over, and it's quite. There we go, quite graphic. Although it was quick, and it was obviously a dummy, still quite graphic for TV. And I think she's dead. She's quite dead. So he picks her up and takes her to Victor. Look. Oh, Victor's not there, of course. He's sodded off, and Dr. Polidori's moved in with his Chinese boys. He calls them that later on. Send my Chinese boy. They're his assistants, and there's like a suggestion that they do other things for him as well. If you know what I mean. Because remember, he can't use his hands. Anyway. Joshua, hang on. No need to stop when you run someone over. Yes, it was a hit and run, that definitely, wasn't it? And it's clearly not too bright. Possible. A good bit deaf too, yeah. Because they're loud, aren't the carriages? And the pounding of hooves. But never mind. Maybe she was deaf. Maybe her grandfather were blind, and maybe she was deaf. Maybe, it was passed down. Sensory deprivation. Anyway, so Dr. Polidori is going to deal with Agatha in a bit. But first he's going to feed Adam. They're going to put Agatha in a nice cool room, under ice because she's dead. And then he's going to try and hypnotize Adam. I don't know if he does or not. But I think this part now, this brings out a bit of, well, it definitely does bring out a bit of Henry Clerval. Because remember, he's got his brain, and he calls him Polly Dolly. He says, he asks who he is, and this is where, yes, who are you? What is your name? And he says, we are Legion. Who made you? He says, Victor, etc. Don't mention Henry. Well, Henry wasn't there, was he? And so, does one of you know Polly Dolly? And then he says, Polly Dolly, like David McCallum used to say. And he actually starts talking in David McCallum's voice now. There we go. So he realizes he's got Dr. Polidori. Oh, cracky. My ears have just started ringing. But it's going to start raining soon. I bet there's a pressure change in the air, and it's going to start raining a bit. Bet it does. Anyway, This part is definitely a true story part. Yeah, definitely. Because it's a true story based on a fictional book. I don't understand why they just call it Frankenstein. Anyway, never mind. So he's guffawing with glee that Henry's brain is in this monster. Anyway, so he's going to help him anyway, and it's a bit of slight racism there, reverse racism. It says, look, to them we all look alike. So, like I said, a bit of reverse racism there. They're feeding him some rice, obviously. Right, so it's going to. Oh, it's Victor and Elizabeth's wedding day. Cool. Lots of carriages there. Look. There you go. So they're all married now. They're all legal. Dr. Polydolly's arrived, and he goes in, and it's got to go and talk to Dr. Polydori. It's time to talk him into going to help him. And this is where we learn about his hands, because he says, I need help with my experiments because, he can't use his hands. And this is where we learn his showers. Showers. No, it's not going to bloody showers, is it? I want to show you his stump. There we go. He's just got a stump on one hand and his other hand's, like the mashed potato fella. This is my strong hand off Scary Movie 2. Is it Scary Movie 2? One of them. But we don't see that yet. But there we go. He's working with chemicals. So that's how he brings people back to life. Not with electricity, but with chemicals. Wants him to help because he's got, he wants to bring Agatha back. So, it shows him that he's brought. Victor's still alive. Not Victor. Adam's still alive. Because he thought he was dead. He saw him leap off Beachy Head, didn't he? So nice to see that him. There we go. So basically, he's going to blackmail. He's blackmailing Victor, saying, if you don't come and help me, I'll tell everybody, and I'll show off Adam, and you'll be ruined and all that. And there's been some murders as well, by the way. Agatha and the young man. Who's going to look after Ralph Richardson now? That's what I want to know. Anyway, so there we go. So off he goes. They're off on the honeymoon now. But he's saying he's got to go and deal with something. He says, it's our honeymoon. Says, you go to the cottage. I will meet you there later. Supposedly the strong hand quote is a Mandela effect, as it never said in the movie, which was Scary Movie 2. I'm sure I've heard that. So I'm going to have to dig it out now. I'm sure he says, this is my strong hand. Oh, something. I'm sure he says something like that. It'll be something along them lines anyway. Because he reaches out because somebody's hanging on to something, aren't they? Anyway. Whatever. I'm sure it's on YouTube. that clip. Anyway, so it's going to Doris. He is now, but saying goodbye to Elizabeth. Right, so they've got to deal with Agatha now. She's got a head in a jar. Not a very convincing severed head, but never mind. According to the internet, it says little hand, but everyone remembers it being strong. Well, yeah. Yeah. Does it take my little hand? I'm sure he says it's his strong hand. Because that's the funny, that's why it's funny. Because he says it's his strong hand, and it's obviously not. But anyway, I'm going to look that up afterwards. I'm going to look that up afterwards. Not looking it up now, not interrupting the tale of terror. Oh dear. No, I'm going to look it up now. See, you've started something now. You've started something. Gonna look scary movie. You're right, too. Clip. Right, there we go. Take mine.
Help! Help!
Here. Oh, take my hand.
Ah!
Come on. You're gonna fall unless you take my hand.
No! Give me your other hand!
Oh, my other hand isn't strong enough.
Ah.
You take my little hand.
No! Get it away from me!
Break it. Break
All right. No, he says, my other hand isn't strong enough. Because he says, give me your other hand. He says, my other hand isn't strong enough. That's what he says. It's on YouTube. I'll share that link. Oh, dear. Right. Where were we? Head in a jar. There we go. Jane Seymour's Head in a Jar. By the way, as I told you earlier on, her birth name's Frankenberg, and she did name herself after Henry VIII's third wife as her stage name. Right, so they're going to sew her together with other body parts. The most beautiful head that England has ever seen. Yes, it's an English rose, Jane Seymour. Although she's got a bit of an American accent now, hasn't she? And then she's got a bit of nudity. We'll skip past that bit. Oh, it's, overt, is it? I see the headless body in a in a tank. But anyway, they're going to bring her back. Sewed the head on. A bird for some reason. Right, so they're going to do lots of jiggery pokery with chemicals and all that. We go liquid sizzling. He's showing him the power of his chemicals that he's learned. Presumably because he's been in the Mystic East or something. Can't call it the Orient anymore, can you? Never mind. Right, so there we go. As I said, pouring different things in and all different colours, bubble and all that. Oh, they have these lovely shots of bubbles and look nice on the Blu-ray anyway. Very good. On it, they're going to change her skin colour and the hair colour as well because she was a redhead once she is Agatha. Now she's going to be reborn as Prima in a bit. They go all lovely colours, and then they're going to set her on fire in a minute. Here we go. Ooh, and he's going, Agatha! He's Adam, and saying, tell him to get out of here. Says, get out of here. There you go. And she's burning. But she's fine. She's going to come out of it okay. And then we see her floating about. It's not going to stop on it, is it? Hang on, let's go back again. Shows Jane Seymour in there we go, looking all wind blown and lovely. Was this presented in glorious Technicolor? Yes, it was, but not in Panavision, not in the wonders of widescreen. You'd have thought, wouldn't you? All these things that they're shot on film, aren't they? Particularly in 1973, because video wasn't a thing really then, apart from TV productions. But although I know this is a TV production, but it was shot as a film, wasn't it? I suppose. You'd have thought, just in case, we'll film it, widescreen, just in case we decide to release it theatrically. You'd have thought so, wouldn't you? But they didn't. I mean, they did that with Duel, Steven Spielberg's film, Duel. I'm sure I've seen that in widescreen. Obviously, when it were on a TV movie, when it was on TV, it'd be in 4:3, wouldn't it? Anyway, never mind. Right. So, they're all happy. We're going to see her in a bit. There you go. So they've got her out. She's all dressed and lovely and looking like Jane Seymour now. We're going to educate her. And James Mason says he's going to, not James Mason, Dr. Polidori says he's going to, educate her and she's going to become, he's going to marry a prince perhaps and, help him take over Europe essentially. He's going to influence European leaders with his hypnotism and stuff, etc. The most powerful man in the world. But anyway, Victor's done his bit. He's don't care. He's off. He's off back to Elizabeth. Another passage of time, I presume. By the way, husband and wife in the same scene. There we go. Really married in real life. Remember, James Mason was also in Salem's Lot, along with her. So he must have got like acting gigs all the time, mustn't he? And by the way, she's Australian. She's not English. She's Australian. Right. So So obviously, he's made her acquaintance, Lady Fanshawe, Elizabeth's mother. But they're back from their honeymoon, and you see, Victor's grown a beard. He's in disguise. But we learn that Dr. Polydor is got his feet under the table, hasn't he? Joshua says this is definitely an odd adaptation of Frankenstein. Well, it's different, isn't it? It's different. Anyway, so there is introducing the world to Prima. They don't have some terrible dresses in this film. That's it's not very flattering, is it? But never mind. And by the way, you've noticed with Jane Seymour, I found this out today as well. I was today years old. I hate when they do that on the internet. That she's got one brown eye and one green eye. Don't laugh when I say she's got one brown eye and one green eye. So there you go. I can't remember what they call it. A lot of people say David Bowie suffers from that, but he doesn't. He's got one iris that's permanently wide open and just makes his irises look a different colour, but they're not. Anyway, right. So we learn that she's not like Adam. She can actually speak properly, and she's not like going, "Oh, beautiful." There you go, heterochromia. There you go, Wingrace. Wingrace knows all. If you want to know anything, ask Wingrace. He'll find it out. He says he Googles stuff, but he doesn't. He just knows these things. Anyway, so they're all meeting. How do you do? Oh God, bloody full screen again. So he's here to introduce. She's staying there, by the way. She's and she's going to learn all about being an aristocratic young lady from Elizabeth. There we go. Yes, because Elizabeth, remember, she's the daughter of Lord and Lady Fanshawe, so she's a lady as well. So he's married into kind of royalty, hasn't he, as Victor? Anyway, I think in the book all this happens in Europe, doesn't it? I think, but this is all in England in this film. Anyway. So there we go. So that's where we're learning that she's going to be staying there for a while. Now she's mimicking. She's lost an earring, so Prima takes off an earring to mimic Elizabeth. They say it must have come off in the carriage. There you go. Very observant. You notice she wears a little thing around the neck to hide something. All right, so obviously Elizabeth's not over impressed with Prima because she doesn't trust Dr. Polidori, with good reason. But she's not happy that Prima's there, really. There you go. He's brought her to introduce Prima to elite society. I don't know why they're not putting Prima with a capital P, but never mind. Yes, on the continent, yes. Anyway, but Victor's not happy about it either. Because he's insinuating himself into Victor's life, into his Polidori, and he doesn't want that. Anyway, so there's nothing they can do about it. Right, so where we learn more about Prima, and eventually we learn that she's cruel because she's pretending to have a faint here now. She's supposed to be ill, but she's pretending to faint. So Victor's taking her to her room, and then she laughs. And apparently, I don't know if it were a deleted scene, but Victor says, "You're copying the woman we saw faint at the opera last night, or the concert, or whatever he says." And then she starts laughing. But we didn't actually see that, did we? So then she starts laughing, and then she tries to seduce him. There you go. So they're kissing. Then there's a knock at the door, and then he says, "Come in." He don't go, "Come in." He says, "Come in," and then he says she's fine. Let me see, in another dress. Elizabeth's playing the piano. Din 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 din. No, she's playing something nice, but she's distracted, so she gets it all wrong and gets cross and goes bong. And then Prima sits down and plays the exact same thing again. Because remember, she's a mimic. She plays the exact same thing again, even down to the mistakes at the end, which freaks out Elizabeth, who leaves. There you go. Then she looks in, and Prima's thingamabob, pretending she's pregnant, because we learn that Elizabeth's pregnant. So there we go. They're in church now, singing some good old hymns, and obviously this fella here is quite taken with Prima. They're all proud of her, and the young men are all, obsessed with her. Anyway, so and then bit here now. This is where we learn she's cruel, and she's she's going to try and throttle the cat. And she actually, I know she's not really hurting the cat, but there we go. She gets him by the neck and gives it a squeeze, and obviously she's not really, she's just pretending to. But the cat scratched her. This is where we see she's got purple blood. Right, so Elizabeth's arrived. So what you doing? I'm just playing. All innocent, but she's a mental case, but with lovely hair. But Elizabeth says they've got a dress for the ball, and she's got to go and try it on. And then there we go. That back a bit. That's where we see she's got a cut on her hand with a purple blood. Look, purple. Remember, she wasn't. She was brought back to life through chemicals and not through the sun. So why is her internal bits and bobs the same as Adam's? I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Another view there. She's got one green eye, one brown. I'd never noticed that till today. She's certainly not blue blood. No, not like Elizabeth. Elizabeth's a blue blood, isn't she? Purple blood. Made it a bit pinkish. She'd have been like a Klingon, wouldn't she? Anyway, whatever. Right, so she's trying on the dress and trying to take a little neckband off to put another one on. But obviously, she won't have any of that. Then she has a little freak out here. She's watching the seamstress sewing the dress. It obviously reminds. Must have some like memory or notion or whatever of her being sewn together. So she has a little attack, so to speak. Right. Elizabeth wakes up in the night and she's going to the Beamer, and she's noticed she's got a scar on her neck. Oh, it's not bloody showing us, is it? In the showers. There we go. Come on, frame, before I get a copyright strike. There we go. See, she's got a scar on her neck. I better make sure we're still going on to. Yes, excellent connection, it says. Nope, I'm still going on to the stuff. Never mind. There, she's got a scar on her neck. Right, so she's shocked by that. Maybe she just had an accident or something. She doesn't know, does she? She doesn't know she's had her head sewn on. She could have just cut her neck somehow and been sewn up. She doesn't know, does she? Anyway, Victor arrives. Please make her leave this house. Getting all dramatic. Meanwhile, it's Polidori's place now, remember. He's getting ready to leave, I think. He's going to take Prima off, marry her off to a prince or a cabinet minister or something like that. It's pretty nice work for a severed head. I'd say he's an amazing surgeon, is Victor, isn't he? Very good. All right, so what we're doing now. I think I've still got Adam down here, I think. Oh, yes, because he wants to destroy Adam. So he's got this vat, this tank, filled with that acid. Remember the acid from earlier on? And he's going to use it to knock out Victor. Not knock out, I'm talking about. Dissolve Victor. Not Victor, Adam. Dissolve Adam. But first they've got to a demonstration of the sizzling power of the acid. Go on, show us. There we go. Dissolving that hammer, look. They're laughing because it's amazing. Chekhov's acid, yes, it is, yes. Saw it in the, I don't know where it was, second act probably, wasn't it? So they're going to use it on Adam. There he is asleep. I'm going to say, just come and lie down here. But then I think they tie him up. He's trying to hypnotize him again. Doesn't really work, I don't think. There he goes. Victor tells him he wants you to rest. So he's going to lie down here next to this. Probably smells, I can't imagine acid is like, odorless. But I don't know. But lying down there next to it. And but Victor, it says he won't feel anything apart from maybe momentarily surprised. But then Victor says, "No, get up and escape and all that." And he jumps up. There's Adam. Do it now. Just, shoving him with the poles. He says, "No, get up." So he wakes up and he gets up and he pushes chucks one of the little Chinese fellas into the acid. And there we go. We see him dissolve. There you go. Actually, quite a good dissolve, that, wasn't it? Actually did use a dissolve. But there we go. So he was surprised. Anyway, but before Adam can escape, Polydor is shoving chairs and stuff. I thought he couldn't use his hands. Maybe he's just pushing them, is he? Oh, no, he's getting the Chinese fellas to do stuff. They're barring Adam's way, and they're going to set fire to the whole place. There we go. Burn. And he's saying, burn Clerval, because obviously he thinks he's Henry, which kind of is, I suppose. He's got Henry's brain, hasn't he? And he does occasionally talk with Henry's voice. Anyway, they're escaping. There's Victor just running out. And they watch it all go up. I thought this was a model at first, but then there's another shot. Maybe that is. I don't know. I can't decide if it's a model. That's probably a model, isn't it? And it shows some other bits. That looks kind of real, doesn't it? That looks kind of full size. Maybe it's a big model. I don't know. I don't know, because fire's hard to miniaturize, isn't it? And it does actually look like proper size fire to me. Anyway, whatever. So they think Adam's dead. They think he's burned alive, just like Michael Myers at the end of the Halloween, whenever it was, 2018 or whenever it came out. Stupid film. Anyway, so meanwhile, they've got a ball to go to now. Now that they've dealt with that thing, they've dealt with Adam and burned him alive. They just go to a ball. I presume, they've gone and had a bath. Yes, that fire burning like a moth. Yeah, it did look a bit big, didn't it? So maybe they just burned down the building. But the explosion, it was a big explosion though, wasn't it? But, whatever. Anyway, so to go to this ball, I presume, as I said, I presume they've had a bath, got rid of all the smoky smell and acid smell. But Victor's getting drunk, because he hasn't had a good night, has he? Victor's getting drunk, and Polydor is gloating. They go, "Long live Polydor the Invisible," because he's going to be off. His plot's thick, and he's going to be off taking over Europe with Prima, and he marries her off to the elite. Anyway, so we're all watching Prima. She starts dancing. Victor being a bit drunk with Elizabeth. I forgot her name now. Margaret Leighton comes back. Francoise Duval. She's come back and she thought it was a costume ball, so she's dressed as, I don't know, Bo Peep or whatever. There we go. And she says she hasn't got an invitation, but she still come. Anyway, so she's with a dandy. By the way, that word's used earlier on in the film. I forgot to mention where when Adam's beautiful, Victor says they're going to make him dress him up like a dandy. So this is an actual dandy, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Victor's dancing with Prima by the looks of it because he's drunk. She starts dancing by herself. The dandy takes over. Then she starts dancing by herself eventually. For some reason, off she goes. There she goes dancing by herself. They're all watching and applauding her dancing for some reason. Don't know why. She's all beautiful. There we go. But it's going to get interrupted in a minute. Here he comes. People screaming. You bet he knows who's arriving now. There he is. Adam's arrived. The creature, looking a bit more manky now, but remember he has been burned. But as I said, he's indestructible. So he goes in. They're all shocked. And he starts knocking people about. She has a go at him first. She hisses at him. Obviously, a reference to the Bride of Frankenstein. She hisses, doesn't she? Does the Bride of Frankenstein? Elsa Lanchester. She hisses, doesn't she? So she hisses at him in this. She's going to show it. There we go. Prima hisses. Nice bit of cleavage there, by the way. Good pause, that wasn't it? So somebody's going to try and there we go. Somebody's going to try and attack him. So he's going to start throwing people about, smashing things. Tough hair. Looks a bit like Tywin in his later years. I'm trying to think now. Tywin. Are you on about Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones? I don't know. I can't remember. He was killed on the toilet, wasn't he? By Tyrion. Anyway, whatever. Right. So they're all screaming. They're all going to try and get out. And then a fella comes with a gun. In a minute. Here he is. Fella comes with a gun. Opens fire on him, and this is where we see, you can't even shoot him. Look, bang, don't do anything. He's indestructible. So then he grabs hold of Prima. This is the scene. They could have made this a bit more gory, but anyway. Sorry, meant Tyrion. He said, "All right." I can't actually remember. Does that guy have on a watch? Did it? I wasn't paying attention. I'm going to have to go back now. Which guy? The one with the gun? Let's have a look. Have a look. Looking for... Oh, that fella there. Yeah, it looks like a watch there, doesn't it? There's a guy or a gal. Somebody's got a watch on there, definitely, haven't they? Let's look back, see if there's any others. The watches around in the early 1900s? I don't know. I know they had pocket watches, didn't they? I don't know about wristwatches. Anyway, yeah. Right, so this is not happy to see him. So he's going to showing off her scar, and he's going to have a word with her, so to speak. And we're all screaming because he's just he hasn't done it yet. He's going to do something now. Come on, get on with it, man. There we go. And there we go. He's gonna pull her head off. He's gonna pull her head off. And but you don't see it. There's no like blood gushing out or anything like that. You hear a noise as though the stitches are tearing and stuff. There aren't any stitches, but the noise as though he's pulling her head off. But you don't actually see any goriness. Anyway, a couple of folks have dark bands on their wrist, probably secondary sleeve cuffs. I don't know, or watches. But Why did he do this? I don't know, really, to be honest. He's upset because she obviously, he loves her. When he comes in, he goes, Agatha. But she doesn't want to know him, does she? She's like hissing and fighting him and stuff. And so I presume he's just reacting. Anyway, but basically pulls her head off. There you go. They're all shocked. And old Polidori, here we go. We see a bit of blood in his hand, look, but we don't see, women fainting. I'd probably faint if I saw somebody's head pulled off, to be honest. And there's a distraught is Polidori. He goes down and he grabs her head. They're all running out. Look. And probably more watches on display. Look at that. It don't linger on that. If you play it, if I just played it normally, it'd be on and off right quick, would that? But not the best head, is it? But never mind. And there you go. He's got a head. He's Prima. So he's unhappy. And he just goes up to Victor, and I think he just says beautiful. There's Adam. There we go. Just says beautiful, and then walks off. Obviously, that represents she were beautiful, Victor's beautiful, but Adam's not beautiful anymore. As I said, it's always nice to Victor, isn't it? Always nice. Never does anything to hurt Victor. Anyway, next day we've got Sir John Gielgud as the constable, who's dealing with the matter of the shenanigans of the previous night. And they're still searching for the maniac who was responsible. And they're blaming, Elizabeth tries to blame Polidori. And he says that they've got Polidori in custody, but he's raving like a maniac, saying the girl that were killed, apparently, I think 2 other people died as well. But Prima, that he'd brought her to life from dead bodies and all that. So obviously, they don't believe him. And Victor tries to take the blame, and he says it's my fault because the man you're looking for, I created him out of dead bodies. And Elizabeth basically intervenes. She uses her pull as the daughter of Lord Fanshawe. Anyway, shouldn't her body still be working without the head like that arm from before? Probably. I don't know. Should be running around like Ash's girlfriend on Evil Dead 2 with a chainsaw. Yep, should be. Stop overthinking it, Wingrace. But anyway, she's blaming Dr. Polidori. So she uses her pull. She has a word with, he's telling him about how he's done it. They don't believe him. Is that Peter Glaze? I don't think it is. It looks a little bit like a fella called Peter Glaze that used to do children's television in the 70s and early 80s. I don't think it is. He's obviously a Bobby. But obviously he doesn't really believe him. And Elizabeth intervenes and she has a word with the constable and tells him that her father overheard something and he wants to go speak to her father. He says, no, he's asleep. And then he says, well, and she says, I'm sure, you wouldn't want to disturb Lord Fanshawe's sleep over this, And he says, oh, well, of course I believe you. And she reminds him that Lord Fanshawe got him his job. So basically, she's pulling rank on him. So off he goes. So she saved Victor and Polidori, I suppose. From she's on about Polidori and he's got a criminal record. Anyway, so there you go. Continue their investigation. They're basically looking for, the creature. Victor and Polidori are the innocent in their eyes, so to speak. But anyway, so they're going now. They're on a ship. They're heading to America. Her father's hired a ship. She says, my father's hired a ship. I thought it said chartered, wouldn't it? But never mind. Hired a ship. Take them to America. Start new lives. But unfortunately, they find out that Dr. Polidori is aboard with them. He's heading to America as well. And he's still sort of like weaseling his way into their lives, saying when they get to America, they should go to Philadelphia, where, you know, there's experiments with chemicals and stuff. And Victor's saying, I don't want anything to do with you. Anyway, there we go. So they're all heading to America together. So he goes back inside, and then says, "How much worse could it be?" Or somebody says, "How much worse could it be?" And, there you go. Oh, it's there. It's the worst thing that could have happened. And then we learn Adam's there as well. They're all on board. Anyway, I thought, I wonder if well, they can't have. They're taking it off him, wouldn't they? If he still has Prima's head somewhere, but they're probably taking it off him, aren't they? Anyway, as I said, so he's still, like I say, is still what's the word? Not insinuating, in you know, injecting himself into their lives, telling them all this stuff, and you know, they don't want anything to do with him. He gets crossed as Victor here, and he kicks over the chessboard and says, "Get out!" So he gets out, and then there's Adam. I think Adam comes across Elizabeth here. Elizabeth helps him in a minute, but there we go. This is where he wants to go, Adam. So we're showing the uncharted wilderness of the North Pole. And he's going to, that's where he wants to go. There we go. Yeah. So she's having words with Victor. We mustn't let him come between us. And then a thunderstorm starting now. Thunder and lightning at sea. And by the way, it's quite good camera work because all the time it's all giving it like that, you know, so they're in on the ship, which is quite good. I'll probably not be able to show it. There we can see Adam's in there. I think she's going to see. There we go. But basically, she closes the door. She locks him in there, and there's a Polidori comes round the corner. Yes, thunder and lightning, very, very frightening me. Polidori, 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 Figaro, Figaro. Oh, ho, ho. Stop it. Oh, I'm doing that again, look. Anyway, she says his door were open and she's just locked it. That was unnecessary. So, where it tells, she says, you know, she's asking, will we be free of you? And it's basically saying no. So he's going to go in, and this is where he says, send down my Chinese boy. I think I may need him. There we go. I tell my Chinese boy to come down. I shall need him. Yes, the Frankenstein Rhapsody. Yeah. Dear. But there you go. He's saying you have no other choice. But she's going to lock him in. She knows Adam's in there. So she locks him in with Adam. She's not going to get the Chinese boy. Is that his skull showing through the skin, or is it supposed to be like a big blister? I think it's supposed to be his skull, isn't it, showing through? Good makeup. By the way, the makeup, I forgot, but it's done by a fellow that did a lot of the Hammer films, and apparently didn't get a credit, which is a shame. And the music for the film is by the fellow that did the music for Kolchak, The Night Stalker. Cool series. Anyway, so Adam's with Polidori, and he's gonna kill him. Not immediately, because he's crying out. Obviously, the cabin must be next door, and he's saying, "Victor, help me! The creature's in with me." So Victor can hear it, and he's going to help him. I don't know why. He's saying, you know, leave him. The creature will deal with him. Creature's taking his hands off. But there we go. And we see his stump and there we go, his strong hand. There we go. My other hand's not strong enough. Hey, you should do the Kolchak movie. There's a couple actually, isn't there? There's the Night Stalker and the Night Strangler, isn't there? They're both decent. Both decent. It's a good series. I like Kolchak. Inspired the X-Files, didn't it? Anyway, so as we see, his manky hands and manky hand and missing hand. Anyway, they go up on deck for some reason, and see Tom Baker soon. He's coming in a minute. Teacher comes out. There we go. Bit of lightning. He's scared. He's Polidori, and there we go. Tom Baker there. Look, and they're all shouting because it's windy and raining, and Adam grabs a rope and ties. There you go. Ties Polidori and hoists him up. Just got a full DVD series. Early series. Yeah, I've got it on DVD somewhere. Over there somewhere. That's really good. Hoists him up into the up the mast. There we go. Ties him off. He's suddenly become really good at seamen's knots as Adam for some reason. But anyway, so he's hoisting him up there, and Adam climbs up with him for some reason, and they're saying, don't go up there. I think Vic says, don't go up there. He'll kill. Yes, hoisted by his own petard. Yeah. Yes. Hoisted by his own petard. I bet Wingrace says something about Jean-Luc now. I bet he does. If he's still watching. Where were we? He says, don't go up there. He'll kill Polidori. So Victor starts climbing up. Oh, there we see. But the lightning strikes Polidori. Instantly turns him into a skeleton. So that's the end of Polidori. Creature laughs. Remember Adam's mimicry? He's been on the ship a while. Yeah, he must have seen other sailors doing knots. Yeah. Yes, very true. Very true. Very true. Good point. Nah, I can't use that joke anymore since the Shuttlepod named an episode. That. Yes, they did, didn't they? Yes, they did. Anyway, so that's the end of Polidori. The creature's still up there. Vic started climbing up, but now falls. But he's fine. And Adam jumps down and scoops up Victor and takes him below decks. Leaves Elizabeth up there. Remember, she's heavily pregnant, by the way. There we go. And Tom Baker saying, how can he possibly stand up to us? Ah, Ciara. That's my impression. That's my impression of Tom Baker. Ciara, get K9. Anyway, so they're going to rush him, and he runs in with 2 guns, and only fires 1 for some reason. But obviously that doesn't kill him because he's indestructible. End of Polidori, and there was much rejoicing. Yeah, I don't think he'll be missed, will he? Don't think he'll be missed. But anyway, shoves them out, and there you go. Goes up on deck, and basically the rest of the crew go get in the thingamabob lifeboat, and obviously sail off. And Tom Baker makes a reference to Bligh. Bligh, now there you go. Bligh did it, and so can I. So they're going to go and back to England, but Elizabeth stays there. They're trying to say, "Come with us, we'll save you, we'll save you." But she doesn't. She wants to stay with Victor. So he's setting a course north. Remember, they were looking at the map north. So there's a compass by the wheel, and he sets the course and ties up the wheel so it keeps heading north. So there we go. Does that because he's a sailor now, because he's been watching them. Gosh, it were. And then absolutely that never twigged. That never twigged that his mimicry. Anyway, right. So she's sitting with Victor. There you go. What more do you want of him? It's actually the biggest sentence he's made. Victor made me. Remember he he never, he doesn't want to hurt Victor. Precursor to the Terror and Erebus, and the Erebus. Yeah, I suppose, maybe, I don't know. But there's nobody, they've all sodded off, haven't the rest of the crew? There's only these three on board now. So I didn't watch all of the Terror. I saw a couple of episodes. It was quite good, wasn't it? But I didn't see it all. But I know what you mean. Anyway, so reminding us that she's pregnant. Obviously, Adam doesn't care. And he kind of turns into, I don't know, he starts speaking with Henry's voice again now. And it basically throttles her, strangles her. And he says the poor Brasolis Astera, the butterfly from the beginning of the film. So he's killed, he's strangling Elizabeth to death, and therefore, the child as well. So anyway, so they're heading north. North, Miss Tessmacher, north. It's getting colder. There we go, it's starting to snow now. It looks like, I forgot to call them now. For Carry On Screaming. What did they call them now? I can't remember. The monsters off that. There were two, weren't there? A big one and a little one. Can't remember what they called them. Anyway, like that. Oh, heading north. It's getting colder and colder. Then we find Elizabeth. He says, "Where's Elizabeth?" And obviously, Adam must have taken her up on deck for some reason, because he finds her up there, look frozen. So she's dead, but she was throttled anyway. So, but she's no marks on the neck, has she? Dead. And then we see Adam. There you go. He's walking off towards an ice cave. Apparently, this is how the book ends. Ish. Apparently, I don't know. I've not read it, but the book starts and ends with this. Apparently. Right. So Victor goes off, and there we go, and catches up with Adam, and they have a little chit chat in this ice cave. It won't hurt him. Have you punished me enough for giving you life? Victor's, owning up to what he did was wrong, and but obviously it's Victor doing all the talking, and he's asking for forgiveness. I don't think he needed it from Adam. I think Adam's always loved Victor, hasn't he? So, don't know. He shouts it, "Forgive me," and that sets off all the ice to crack, and then they both start laughing. There we go. Beautiful. That's all they can say. But it didn't, but you know what I mean. Beautiful Victor, yeah. And then they start laughing, and then all the ice collapses. Then we cut to some stock footage of ice shelves collapsing and stuff. There we go. Stock footage, and then the film ends. There you go. And then we get to the cast list. James Mason. There we go. End of the film. Well, TV. A 2-part TV experience. And I really like it. I think it's good. I think it's really good. It's different. It's a different interpretation of Frankenstein. I don't know how they called it true story. But apparently some things in it I like in the book and some things aren't. So, but anyway, we will leave that. There we go. Get rid of that. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's good. I must enjoy it because I got the bloody Blu-ray, didn't I? And it's worth watching. It is. It's a good TV movie. One of the good ones. I mean, some of them, and some TV made for TV things aren't good, aren't they? But that one's up there with Salem's Lot for me, and It 1990 It. They're the three good ones that I liked. In a horror vein, obviously. So there we go. So that's it. That's Frankenstein: The True Story from 1973. It was fun. Could have made it a little bit more gory though, couldn't they? Although they did have, it was a bit gruesome for TV back then, but especially when they pulled their head off, could have shown that. But never mind. You'd have thought they'd have shot it, wouldn't you? You'd have thought so, and then said, "We'll do it just in case." Then if the censors say to take it out, we can take it out. You'd thought they'd shot it anyway, but they could have added it back in later for a theatrical release with an X certificate, but they didn't. Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks. Oh, hang on. Did they make any other true story adaptation? I have no idea. Like Dracula, the true story, and what else? What else would there be? The Wolfman, the true story. I don't know. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But yeah, that were good. It were good with that. And I think like, a few Hammer people work behind the scenes. I think we saw Philip Martell's name. Like a musical consultant. He did the Hammer films, didn't he? So it does have a bit of a Hammer feel to it, doesn't it? In my excuse me, in my opinion. But anyway, right. I'm going to leave it there. Good to go now. So thanks, Wingrace. Thanks, Joshua. And thanks, DJ, for dropping in. And thanks to Archmage Frey, that mysterious man over on Twitch, for dropping in as well. So we'll leave it there. I haven't decided what next week's show is going to be. I'll dig something out. But we're back on Monday. Well, I'm back on Sunday with my new stream. And also back on Monday with my magnificent Monday, which this week we're doing Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin. We're watching a cartoon. So there. One of my favourite films. I really like it. I've always liked it since I first saw it back in the day. It's some say it's a Star Wars rip-off, but yeah, it is. But who cares? Right, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, where are we? Wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, don't have nightmares, and I'll see thee.